Hello, everybody. So, Real Talk, Real Answers from the Heart. We're here, and I have a different background only because I just thought this was really cool. AI, and I had fun. Um, so, what are jumping timelines anyway? Um, so I did talk to the group and say, I'm going to start this off with the Mandela Effect because that is a perfect example of living or different timelines. And you've heard me say this, I'm sure, before if anyone has listened to this Real Talk, Real Answers from the Heart, but jumping timelines, Mandela Effect. Great man thrown in jail. Some will swear to God they have evidence that he died there. And others will swear to God and have evidence that he actually was released and became a great leader for his country. Both are true. Both are true. Fact. Because they're two different timelines. So we're going to get really out there in some crazy theory and perspective. Um, quantum physics would explain timelines as being energetic chaos. You've got energetic chaos, and the chaos creates potential, right? And the timelines are based on what choice are you going to make in this moment, the next moment, and the next moment, because every time you make a choice, conscious or unconscious, you are choosing the timeline path that you're on. And so you can consciously shift your timeline, right? I know I don't know. I would like to see this result, but I don't know what how the backstory will change. I can kind of see where I want to go, but can't clearly see backwards. Whereas if I stay in my current reality, I can connect the dots quite clearly. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Does any of this make sense? Stretch your brain. So, Tina, when you think about jumping timelines, what comes to mind for you?
Well, I think that, perception is reality. And so what we believe is true becomes the truth. And I do believe that we create form with our energy, with our thoughts, our emotions. We create form. And I mean, there's books written on that. So even when I look at collapsing timelines, when you start to alchemize, when you start to change things, you become someone different. And so there are a lot of theories on that. But when you do look at truth, truth is perception, and reality is truly what we say it is. We create reality, all of us collectively, because we agree upon what we say reality is.
Mhm.
So, yeah, even when I look at timelines for myself, I mean, I had rosacea, I had illnesses that are like completely gone. Did they just change? Or did changing things within myself change those timelines? So yeah, I absolutely 100% agree that I think that we are looking at different timelines and we're seeing the changes in people based on their awareness with a capital A, right, of consciousness. So people are having experiences, telepathic experiences. We're seeing Reverend Sheila, she can actually speak the galactic star mothers. I mean, because people have a more expanded understanding of their own consciousness. So I don't want to speak for her, but I think that all plays into these timelines that we're experiencing.
That and for me, increased synchronicity happens,
Mm-hmm.
more deja vu happens,
Yeah.
more like I woke up this morning and there were certain things that were on my mind and they literally manifested. They were things that had already been in play, but I picked up on them. I'm feeling people more, Sheila, I mentioned that, the feeling of your daughter. I was literally feeling things more as I become more open to the collective, right? So, and that's a different timeline. It's different experiences. So, Cindy, what are your thoughts?
I love everything that I'm hearing because I totally agree that the truth is the truth is the truth. It's just an opinion. We talked about this a little bit the other day. It's everybody's opinion of what they feel the truth actually is. So that's all true, right? And yes, red pill or blue pill. Make a choice. Which one do you want to take? Which rabbit hole do you want to go down to actually create your next reality? So, yeah, I think that awareness is a big key, as you just said, Tina, with a capital A, in terms of waking up to what's around you and feeling into it because logically, again, I read it, so it must be true, as you just said earlier, Gail. Right? I read it, it was in black and white, so it must be completely true. Well, maybe you need to feel into it, or maybe just need to even do a little bit more asking questions. I think that we've gotten to a state where too many people just rely on a soundbite, and that's it. That's the truth. There's nothing else behind it, just that little teeny soundbite that was out there. And I think that we really need to tune into ourselves more, and really, as you said, feel to like say, okay, what's really happening? It comes down to the discernment, right?
Mhm.
Discernment of what's really happening for me personally. That's going to be my opinion, my truth. Timeline, where that to me, I hate to say it, but it's like a tagline at this point. We're jumping timelines. What does that actually mean? I just think that it means that more people are actually waking up to see that there's been a bunch of stuff that's been thrown out there, stuff that was thrown out. Let's see what's going to stick against the wall, and let's see who's going to eat that whatever spaghetti that was stuck on the wall, and and enjoy it.
Call it what
Um,
it is.
yeah,
It's
right.
shit on the wall. It's not spaghetti.
Exactly, exactly. So I think it's really interesting. For me personally, yeah, I feel that my dreams are extremely vivid right now simply for the fact that, again, the openness, being open to
Mhm.
um, expansion, expanding my consciousness, expanding my awareness in a very loving way towards myself and towards others has really helped me shift into whatever you want to call it, the next phase of my life, the next timeline of how I personally see things and who I want to be. So I think it's everything that everybody's already said, and I know Sheila's going to tag on even more.
In a
So
minute. Yep.
that's my 2 cents on it.
So I will say that, this is a group of women that have the opportunity to spend time together with each other every week. And I have had the opportunity to watch every single one of them and others change, change dramatically. Baby step changes. So it's not Monday you're this and Friday you're that. It's Monday you're this and 3 months later you're that, right? It's that gradual, except for Tina. She had a, right.
Tina had a dynamite blast.
She did. She had the bomb go off, man. Right. And sometimes it feels like that. But that to me, that is also timeline changes because I know that if I had stayed on the trajectory I was on in 1999, if I stayed on the trajectory I was on in 2007, if I stayed on the trajectory I was on in 2015, if I stayed on the trajectory I was on in 2020, if I stayed on the trajectory I was on January of this year, it would all have led me to a different place than where I am right this minute.
Mhm.
Because you can connect the dots very clearly looking back to see, well, this happened and look at how that changed and how that changed and how that changed, right? We can intentionally do that moving forward as well. That's the cool thing about line, right? And so, Sheila, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, first of all, I have a different explanation for timeline shift or jump. All right, so
Okay.
mine is more about the DNA and the frequency that's here right now,
Hmm.
the new earth frequency. All right, and yes, it is about perception, it's also about programming, and it's also about synchronicity and synchronicity and serendipity. Meaning, when you talked about the trajectory, I talk about it. Where were you? Keep it very simple. Where were you at this time in your life? What was happening to you? What experiences did you experience? Did you enact on it, or did you stay stuck in it, or did you move on from it? So it's all about change, moving, evolving, wisdom, wisdom. When I look at timeline jump and all the things that has happened here, I have personally shifted in my consciousness and my awareness of my abilities as a divine being, as a soul intelligence. And the channeling that comes through me is just merged together with this timeline. In other words, the wisdom that comes out of me and the teaching or understanding of it all, I live it every single day, and it goes from day to day to day. The timeline shift is the evolution of the frequency of who we really are. And many people are stuck, or they don't, they keep the Mandela effect. They are very, very stuck in this is the way it is, and it's not going to change because that's their choice.
Right. They
It's all
see
about
no possibilities. I want to pop in before you go down a
okay.
rabbit hole because you said something that I think is really important. So I don't want to lose that,
Go ahead.
right? And it's the DNA, the DNA.
Yes.
As we as I change my consciousness, I am changing my DNA. As
Yes.
I
Recalibrating. Think of
question
recalibration.
my reality, if I let go of my beliefs and am open to the possibilities of dragons, open to the possibility of angels, open to the possibility of the galactic divine speaking to me, if I allow myself to be open to those being real, I allow that energy to become, as you said, part of me. And I have no choice but to change at my very DNA. I have no choice but for my body, my very cells to change. Right. So it's really important for people to understand your thoughts are that goddamn strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So go ahead, hon.
It's your power, the
Use your power.
consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness is energy, and energy is consciousness. What you think is what you project out, and it
Yeah.
also is what you get back. So you
Yeah.
actually put the frequency out to get what you want. If it's negative, it'll be negative, and you want to change. If it's just right before you, and you just say, "No, it's black. It's not gray. It's black," or "No, it's not black. It's not white. It's gray." It's like because staying safe by being in the gray is easier for you than actually recalibrating up to a different thought, a different reality. It's the reality of what you live in.
Well,
And I know those are big words, but
mm-hmm.
think about choices as humans and what we've always been taught. And now things are coming out differently as a different frequency where you have a different perception. In other words, awareness.
An acceptance that what we thought was true may not be true today. This
Exactly.
picture, I mean, I just love it for a zillion different reasons. Um, I got to spend some time in front of a Rembrandt yesterday on a little tour, and that picture was mostly black, which is his style. And as we sat there and talked about what we saw, what we felt, what we witnessed in that painting, the darkness started to get the texture. The darkness started to get shape. The darkness started to get meaning. And we could actually see what was really going on in the picture. And this is why, I love the darkness. This is what is happening for those of us who are questioning our reality and saying, well, is there something else? Is there something else? I'm open to tell me, is there something else? And we start to see the little lights, so it's this way, the little lights in the darkness. We start to feel the warmth of the darkness. We start to notice that we're not alone in the darkness. We might even start to see that that's where we come from, right? Is the darkness, and that it's beautiful. And so jumping timelines is simply to me, and I agree, it's not the right word for what is we're experiencing, but it's a word that, quantum physics has put on it. It's just leaping from the reality, the trajectory we're on to a new trajectory. We can change our life. Sheila, you've changed your life dramatically. Tina, your life is nothing like it was. Cindy, since January, your life has twisted in all kinds of turns like it's never done before, right? All because we're open to what else could be there, what else is possible. And in the programming of the past, we're allowing ourselves to reprogram ourselves.
Yeah, I was
And
just thinking when you were speaking that, I just felt it just dropped in that it's the collapsing of the self to rebirth the new self. And that's already there. And I knew Sheila would get that rebirth because she does the rebirthing. Uh, for the new energy. So it makes sense that the calibration is taking place to house the energy and the frequencies because they're different. They're different than the denser energies and frequencies. So when people are thinking of these timelines, the collapsing is of the identity of the three-dimensional identity into the higher self. I just wanted to share that because that just popped in there, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, when you talked about the quantum physics, all right, the physiology too is changing as far as what they always thought the black hole was nothing, or it's not. It is actually everything, and our evolution has allowed us now to look into that to see things differently. The
Mhm.
same with sacred geometry. The same with
Mhm.
how we are all quantum molecules of this structure of the sacred geometry. And what does that mean? So the recalibration is about things that are physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually happening to us, but it's our evolution. And so we are evolving into a new understanding of what quantum physics is. There's a lot of physics people that I know that aren't into the new consciousness at all. And they don't understand it is because they have been absolutely programmed. They haven't been taught, they haven't been open to the awareness of it or to want to look any differently into learning about it. And that is a lot of what I do with the DNA as far as opening up and understanding what the blockages are, but also what is the choices that you make, whether you want to open it up to go to a new understanding or new perspective, or if you want to just stay stuck because
mhm.
your ego or whatever is stopping you. There's something else that's stopping you, and that is the changes with these time jumps that are happening so quickly from day to day,
Mhm.
and it's huge. It's huge. Yeah, it's all about where we are in our evolution and where we choose to go because we don't have to. We don't have to.
No, no. And
We don't
and
have
I
to.
know many who are not going to go, right? In fact,
And
most 99.999% of my family. Um,
Well,
and
that's just the programming so deep, right?
right, and their fear,
Can't
the
see.
fear that they're hanging on
Yeah.
to. One of the things I'd like to quickly touch on as well. And Sheila, thank you so much for sharing with me the changes, the where everything is energy, including us. Mother Earth and humans are in sync energetically, or we wouldn't be able to be here. The Earth's energy frequency is rising dramatically and sustaining that rise. What does that mean? Mother Earth, humans in sync. Mother Earth, oh shit, humans, we have to get in sync. Oops, humans, oh shit, Mother Earth has to get in sync. Oh, there she goes, right? And so the energy, this is what's happening right now, and we can feel it. I know I can feel it. There are times we get together and we all have the same story about how we're feeling this day or how we're feeling this week or what has happened this week, because energetically we're going through the same thing. Astrology is going to tell you what's happening, and it's true because of the way the stars are aligned. They pull on the earth, the energy is pulled. That pulls us. We're energy as well. We're all part of the earth. And so timeline shifts are who's going with the energy and who's fighting the energy. Resistance, by the way, is futile. Just letting you know that the pain that you're having is
We
the
will
res- is
celebrate.
the re- I know I am a Borg. I am the Borg
Kind of the
mother.
board.
No, Sheila's the Borg mother. I'm the Borg sister.
No, we're all equal. It's just that we're in different timelines.
Different timelines. Yes.
Timelines, but it's so everything, all the lifetimes you had is all about experiences, about growing, about evolution. And
Mm-hmm.
I talk a lot with my clients about that, why it's important to understand the past and how it affects your future or affects just today and then the future too. But putting like the tapestry together,
Mm-hmm.
putting all those pieces together to make the big tapestry of who you really are as a divine being,
Mm-hmm.
a benevolent divine being. And it's huge.
Yeah.
Many do not understand it. Many have came here specifically to do this work, and many of us are. We are the
Mm-hmm.
lighthouses because we have the wisdom from those other lifetimes, and we chose to come here at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot
A
of
very
people,
exciting time.
yeah, have a hard time with that. Some people have a hard time with that because of all those, what you talked about, those fears, and I call them issues in the tissues, and where that energy is imprinted within the DNA focus. All right, that's what the DNA is all about. And the recalibration is actually changing our frequency from the lower frequency to the higher frequency of knowing more clairs, more intuition, more downloads and uploads, as they say. People use these words a lot, but um, have a little bit of hard understanding of the new talk or what it actually means, like the recalibration. What does that
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It is our physical body is changing.
Our
That's the key.
physical, our mental, our emotional, our connection.
And we're
Sid, go ahead.
we're electromagnetic beings. It's
We are.
all part of the machine. And they talk about the robots and the AI machines and stuff like that. We are robots too.
We
We
are
are
avatars.
machines.
Look up the definition of avatar. It is the human body. Look up the definition. It'll
Yeah.
blow your mind. Cindy, I see you nodding your head and whatever. What are your thoughts with this discussion
Oh,
right
I'm
now?
just absolutely loving this conversation. What I really like too is what Sheila said in terms of that we're all on our own, each individual timeline. So I think that's an important thing to like bring up too, because I think some people get confused about, well, wait a minute, if this is one big timeline jump, right? And what if I don't get there? And so I think it's really interesting because we are each of us on our own, having our own timeline jump. So I think it's just to reiterate that it's very individual in terms of this whole moving into the next level of consciousness, ascension, whatever word you want to tie to it. It still comes back to it's very, very individual. Yeah, I just needed to bring that back up because I thought that was a really point that we
Yeah.
could all miss. And people that aren't really are just starting to like learn about this might go, well, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
That we all
And
need
get
to make
confused.
this big collective jump all at the same time. That's going to happen at the same time. It's still individual, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I like to put it in the terms of the story, and Tina, this perspective because it's based on Franco's teaching, and I just totally buy into it. Is as a soul, Sheila, you mentioned it. I chose to be here. I chose to be here, so therefore I wrote the story. I wrote my story, and I wrote the story as an experiment or a game of me forgetting so that I go through the process of waking up to who I am. And so the prize is waking up. But guys, the trick is there's always more to wake up to. So don't think there's an end game. But there is. The end game is when you understand the game. And so if I wrote the story, I can change it. That's shifting your timelines. Look, we're going to have a thumbs up, I think, in a second. Shifting my timeline, right? I can shift the trajectory based on me consciously wanting to make a change in my life, right? And I go through the work of looking at the issues and the tissues, right? Doing the work it takes to release those in order to create space for the change to happen. But it's taking ownership. When I understood that concept, that I wrote this, it's by me, it's not just for me, it's by me. Why did I write in an experience of chemo? Why did I write in two ridiculous divorces? Why did I write in a mother dying at 3? Why did I write in all of the pains that I had in my life so that I would wake up? They all taught me, and so much more taught me to wake up, Gail. And I heard that. I heard that when I was 8, 7 or 8, walking the streets of Boston. Wake up. And I was so afraid because I didn't know who I was. I knew I didn't belong to this family. I knew this wasn't my world, but I didn't understand what that meant. Right? And understanding is the problem. Just feel into it.
That's
Just
that's really our human um, understanding, the linear mind
yeah,
of needing to analyze it and call upon those tapes of what you know, what you've learned, instead of stepping into your power as
right,
far as knowing it as a
right,
soul. And
right.
it's all about the wisdom, tapping into the wisdom. A lot of people talk about manifesting. You know, they've been taught to manifest
We
in a
manifest
certain
every day.
way. Exactly.
We're
But
manifesting right now. Go ahead.
and yes, and manifesting can be used in different terms of understanding it. But in the metaphysical way or the spiritual way, they kind of understand it in an analytical way. You know, if I do this, this, and this is what's going to happen, forgetting that certain type of energies or fear or anger or whatever will stop you. And it's really about the right time and the divine time. Even though we choose and we want to, maybe it's not time for it. What is happening is the shift, the paradigm shift of the consciousness. That is the change in what is happening now. That is happening now. And it is scientifically based. It is shown, but of course it's not allowed out into the regular because they don't understand it. They're still looking at it as that black hole means nothing. And it's everything. It is the whole physics, yes, of the universe. The black, when you were talking about that picture, all right, I seen the blackness, but also what is the lights that shows up, direction. It's just like being in the dark and the light comes and it shows you the way. It shows you the way to go. And that's exactly what the synchronicity is all about in the serendipity. If you recognize it, okay, I have to face my fears. I have to do different. I have to change. And as you vibrationally say that out into the field, you allow things to come towards you or the collaboration. And it's more of creating or co creating with the
Okay.
energy, co-creating. It's not manifesting, it's co-creating or writing a whole new story. Well, the story changes because you change, your wisdom changes. And
Your
that's where we are
desires
right
change, your perspective changes, your needs change, everything changes, and it's so all vibration because
now.
we're energy. That's all we are, guys. That's
And it
all we
seems like
are.
it's all upside down, because today when I was sitting in meditation, I was like, I am seeking what I already am. I don't need to seek it. I am it. I don't
Right?
need to do it. I
I
just
am
need to
it.
be it. And it's like, wow, I mean, these are things the yogis were saying, but they're the truth. We're already what we want to be. We just have to believe it. So I just wanted to tie that in because I just think that so often we're seeking what we already are.
And that's the
That's
end
right.
game. That is the end game. When that is internalized, Tina, not
Yeah,
understood, right,
right.
Sheila, but internalized. That's the shift in the DNA. That's the shift in the consciousness because you realize that everything is right here, everything is out there, because it's all the same.
It's
Yeah,
the power. That's power of the beloved, the
yeah,
I am, the
yeah.
oneness of who we are. We're on the outside, and in the middle is the whole great central energy of everything. Understand that
Hmm.
you are beloved. You are God, one with God, but you have the
Hmm.
power to tap into that. That is huge to understand that. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always it's the evolution, knowing that where we came from is not where we're going to end up, but we need to go through it to evolve as a
Well, we wrote
soul.
the story.
Hmm.
We wrote the story. Why wouldn't I want to star in my own play?
It's the stillness too. It's the stillness. Like when you say the black hole, it's like it's where all the creation is.
Mhm.
So it's beautiful. It's when you really experience it and allow yourself to experience it, it's beautiful. It's like so beautiful, it's overwhelming.
Well, so
Something,
take a look at
something.
Cindy's picture and take a look at mine.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing. The same thing. I love the contrast, Cindy, of the black and the white.
Me too.
Yeah, it's just perfect. It's just
Mhm.
perfect. Well, we're over time, ladies. So I want to thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for those of you who are here. Kitty, I know that you were there. Matt, I don't know if you're still there. Maybe not, but I know you were watching. I hope you got a lot of this. Everyone, this is great. If you listen to the replay, let us know what your thoughts are. What do you think? Right? Because this is, everything is a story, everything's made up. None of it's real unless you want it to be. Bye.